Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos, and you're watching Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on your local cable station. Your local cable station actually is something that you pay for in your cable bill. Come up and take a look around the station. It's on the 3rd floor of Town Hall. They have equipment if you'd like to learn how to run a camera, if you would like to learn how to run a camera and borrow it to take it to an event for a nonprofit, if you'd like to learn how to edit. All of that can be done right here in Georgetown, and they will be more than happy to teach you. The more people that we have that can run cameras and be part of the cable TV process, the better. Now today we're talking to Matthew Huppy, and we're talking to him. Matthew is a piano teacher in town, and I didn't even know we had one of those, so this is different. We have everything in Georgetown. Now, do you go by Matthew or Matt?
Generally Matthew, but
okay.
Some people call me Matt.
All right, because I've always known you as Matthew.
Yeah.
But that's partially because I know your mom.
Right.
Now, how long have you lived in town?
Since I was about 8, I grew up in Georgetown, so I've been here for years, and fairly connected in the community, so a long time.
Okay, now one of the times I interviewed your mom, you were homeschooled.
Yep.
Until what grade?
Until, I graduated from high school doing that at 16, and then went straight into Northern Essex Community College, so up until...
So you went right through high school?
Right through high school.
As homeschooling?
Yep.
Is that unusual?
Not for homeschoolers. There's a
Okay.
fairly large amount of homeschooling in Massachusetts, and pretty typical from there to go straight into college, so right into junior college.
Okay. Now, what were you looking to take up at Northern Essex?
I didn't really know. I just wanted to start working on gen ed stuff. It's pretty common in
General education, just
Yep.
whatever. Yep.
Yep.
And math, science,
yep.
English.
Start getting degree requirements done, and figure it out from there.
And what did you figure out?
Well, it was a long process. I ended up with a bachelor's degree in economics, not in teaching.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
And where did you get that from Northern Essex too, or
no,
someplace else?
I just did 2 years
switched.
at Northern Essex, yep, and then finished at several other schools. So, but teaching is something that I've done since high school, and grew up playing piano. So it's just something that was a natural outgrowth of playing piano all my life. So.
Okay, but economics—that's so far from teaching. Are you working in the field of economics at all?
Yep,
Okay.
I do some financial trading on my own on the side, but piano teaching is just a passion that I've always had along with piano. So.
Now you have family here in Georgetown. You have
Yep.
a lot of family here in Georgetown.
Yep.
And they are?
Yep. My parents live in Georgetown, and 2 brothers and 1 sister still live in Georgetown.
Okay, so there's quite a crew there.
Right.
So when did you actually start playing piano?
Probably when I was about 4.
Really?
Yep.
Now, the automatic question is why? And at that age, probably because your mother and father told you to.
Pretty much. We had
Okay.
a piano in the house, and like any little kid, you just start tinkering around on it when you walk by. So
And
it's
chopsticks
just,
and
right,
dough a
right.
deer and all that kind of stuff.
Because it was there.
Because it was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kids always love to listen to the noise and
Yep.
that part of it.
Yep.
Did you ever play other instruments?
Yep. I've played a little bit of guitar, bass, drums, even some flute. So I've been around lots of instruments and music
Wow.
all my life.
And when you were first playing, did you learn to read music? Or are you one of those people that can play by ear?
I can play by ear, but I started learning how to read sheet music when I was probably about 6.
Really?
So, yep.
Wow. Is that just a natural tendency for you?
Probably a little bit, but I started taking lessons when I was about 6, so that's what led into that. Learning to read sheet music is an important part of learning to play any formal or official music that people have written. Some people learn just to play chords, especially kind of related to rock, but learning how to read sheet music is, an important part of learning how to play.
Okay, now I'm going to kind of throw something at you that when you're playing the piano, You're Does one hand play chords and one hand plays notes, or do they both play notes?
Yeah,
and,
sometimes.
And what about your feet? I know they're doing something
Yep.
down there too.
Yep.
What are they doing?
It all depends on what kind of music you're playing. Classical music will have melodies in both hands, lots of complex rhythms going on. Rock music will sometimes have chords in one hand and a melody in the other.
Okay. Like a guitar would.
Yep.
Quite often,
Yep.
chords with one hand and the
Sure.
notes with the other. Okay.
And so it's just, there's a mix of that in most styles of music. The pedals, one pedal gives a sustained sound, so you can hold
Okay.
it down and the sound will hold out. One pedal helps quiet the music a little bit, which can be achieved by holding the pedal down or else just by pushing on the keys less hard.
Okay.
So it's sort of a help to playing more quietly. So.
For different styles,
Right.
different styles of music.
Right.
When you were playing and when you started thinking about teaching, is there a school or are there requirements for somebody to become a piano teacher?
There aren't requirements per se. There are schools that you can go to get trained as a piano teacher. You can get a degree in piano teaching. There are various certifications in piano teaching. So it's not like a licensed profession like the medical profession where you have to follow certain regulations in order to teach. There are just certifications that you can get to, say, be a better teacher.
Did you go for any of those, or were you just a natural teacher?
Yeah, my training has just been playing for years and teaching for about 6 years now.
Okay.
I didn't go to school specifically for piano teaching, but just one of those things that has gone along with playing for years and years.
So, what age range and what skill levels do you teach? How young are they to start with?
Generally, as young as about 6.
Okay.
Before that, it's
The fingers are kind of little.
yep,
before
and
that.
that's okay. It's more about people's goal for what they want their children to learn. None of my students are aspiring concert pianists per se, which is pretty typical. If you're someone that wants your child to potentially be a concert pianist, you're going to want to start them extremely young,
Okay.
probably 2 or 3. But, most people aren't that.
Yeah.
So usually it's a less formal process, more just getting them familiar and enjoying the music, and not being so rigid with them, just kind of introducing it to them when they're 4 and 5, and then if you want to start lessons when you're about 6, that's probably a good age where they can actually kind of concentrate.
Okay. What would be the first song that you teach? I know you don't teach songs right away, but
Yeah.
what would be the first song that you teach a little kid to play?
Well, probably something in a beginner book like Bastian or Alfred or Faber. Those are the 3 most common methods. Usually start the little kids in one of those books, depending on, a lot of times people already have books, and if they want to use one of those, that's fine.
Okay.
It's not critical to use one strict method, especially when they're so young. So usually just one of the little beginning songs in there, and then once,
Like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star type stuff?
yeah,
Or?
yep, that might even be a little advanced for
Oh.
right when they start.
Okay.
Yep. But if they're at that point where they can do that right away, then great. Sometimes it's just going to be like, Mary Had a Little Lamb, where it's mostly just 3 different notes, sort of a thing.
Okay.
But
Now you said there are 3 different methods, 3 different types of books. Can you explain those?
well, there are many different methods, but those are just 3 common names: Bastian and Alfred and Faber.
They have differences, or?
Yeah, they're all. It's just like 3 different brand names of common piano books.
Okay.
So they have, slight variations in teaching method, but it's not nothing too huge.
So you can use one or the other,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
mix them together? or-
Absolutely. Usually I'll use some of all of them, just depending on student goal and learning style and such.
Okay.
So,
What's the oldest student that you have had?
probably someone about 68 maybe.
Ooh, real old. My age old.
No, no. If you can move your fingers and play the keys, you're never too old to play. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of personal enjoyment and kind of what your goals are.
Do many people take it up later? One of those, I've always wanted to learn to play and now I'm retired and I want to do something different?
Yeah, I've heard that that one a lot. More of my students are young, but I definitely hear that a lot. And
Yeah.
the older students that I do have, that's a common line that you hear.
Now, where do you teach classes? I mean, a piano is not something you can just put it in a case and take it with you, or put it on your back and take it with you. Do you teach it in your home or in their homes, or a keyboard, or what, or all of the above?
Right. I teach in students' homes.
Okay.
I have little kids, at home. So in order to get the best teaching environment, just teach in their home, which allows people the convenience of not having to travel, especially when they have young kids running around the house or whatever. If they want to watch the rest of their kids while I can teach one kid, then that's convenient for them. And they can own a piano. That's great if they do. It's not necessary if all they have is a keyboard. That's okay. It doesn't give the same feel and touch response that a piano does, but it's definitely okay to learn on, especially depending on some people are learning rock or pop or things like that, where they'll be playing on a keyboard a lot anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
So then that's perfectly fine if they have a keyboard.
What style do you prefer? What style of well, first, what style of teaching?
I'm very eclectic. Every student has a different learning style and different goals. So some students want to learn all the method and theory behind and so forth. Some students really don't want to get into that much at all and just want to get into chords for popular songs and rock songs and so forth. So it all just depends on goals, and I think the students' motivation is the most important thing to them learning. I'm not there to put them on a regimen or force them to do things. It has to be their goal and their motivation driven.
Not their parents' goal?
Yeah. Well,
there's a little bit of that.
That's a factor to starting lessons, but you want to connect with the student and what their motivation is as quickly as possible in order to teach them most effectively.
Now, for the kids that you teach, do some of them go on and play piano in school, like in school bands and things like that?
Yeah. Generally, there isn't too much piano in school bands, although some schools have piano accompaniments for some songs, especially choral songs. But yeah, some of them go on to play with school-related functions. Some of them do, religious functions, church things, or personal music bands or whatever. So.
Okay, good segue here. So, if you learn to play the piano, you said churches. So, a lot of churches have organs as opposed to pianos.
Right.
Sometimes they have both. What's the difference between playing an organ and playing a piano? Is it tough to cross over from one to the other, and what is the difference?
Yeah, it's not quite the same. The organ has at least 2 rows of keys, and the organ also has bass pedals. So it's not the same at all for students to play. The organ's a little more complicated for people, so that's kind of another subject entirely.
So it would be easier for somebody that plays the organ to then go to the piano.
Absolutely.
Than vice versa.
Yes.
So if they can play the organ, they can just kind
Play
of
the
bring it
piano.
down a notch
Definitely.
and play the piano, but not necessarily the other way
Right.
around. About what time frames do you work your lessons?
Usually anytime from 9 to 7 generally.
Really?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
the adults would be able to come during the day, or you could go to them during the day.
Well, older adults, a lot of adults are, in work 9 to 5 or whatever, so some of them prefer to do like it right after or before dinner sort of a thing. most children, it's an after-school sort of a thing. Summer's different, but
Weekends?
weekends all over the board.
Really?
Yep,
Okay, just because that's availability for the students?
right.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what is your personal experience as a teacher? How long and why and?
I've been teaching for about 6 years, and I have experience across the board. I've also taught students with developmental disabilities. I was raised in a house with individuals with developmental disabilities living with us. So as a result, from a young age, I became very familiar with all of that scene and started working with individuals.
You have some foster people living with you.
Right.
That very, very special, very neat people.
Yes. So teaching experience with wide-ranging individuals with wide various needs and learning styles. So.
Now, online, can they get hold of you online? You have
Yep.
a website? Or?
Yep. The easiest way for people to remember to find me online is just to look up Matthew Huppy Piano Teaching on Facebook, and
Okay.
my website is connected through there also. So
And it's two T's,
Uh-huh.
MATTHEW,
Yep.
HUPPE.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's your Facebook page.
Right.
So that goes,
It's my business page.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Now, if you've got a student playing or you have a family, if they have 2 or 3 children,
Mm-hmm.
is there a better price range?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always willing to work with anyone that's interested in taking lessons, budget-wise. And, if several people from the same family are taking lessons, then I would definitely give a discount.
Okay. About what do lessons cost nowadays? I mean, I haven't known anybody that's done piano lessons for a very long time.
Yep. Generally, it is $30 for a half-hour lesson,
Okay.
which is done generally either once a week or once every other week. Often adults don't have the same amount of time as kids do to practice and play, busy with work and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's often not necessary to have the lesson as frequently
Okay.
for the value for them.
So it's once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Right.
How much practice do they need to do in between?
All depends on the student. Some people pick up material very quickly and are just really fast learners. Some people need a lot more practice. It's just an individual thing, and you want to feel like you're making progress between lessons. If you're not, then it's probably too frequent for you.
Okay.
Otherwise it's just kind of a waste of your time and money to have them so frequently. You need to be practicing enough to
To learn those chords, learn those notes,
right,
learn how to read the sheet music.
to be ready for the next lesson.
Now you said you have little ones at home,
Mm-hmm.
little teeny ones?
Yep. Two little girls, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And
So
have they been banging on the piano? I
Oh,
know
yeah.
the 3-year-old has.
Yeah.
I've seen her, so.
yeah.
And will she start to play piano in another couple of years?
Oh, definitely. And I think it's one of those things where being, say, the child of a piano teacher, I try to be and will continue to try to be very sensitive. Not to push them. If they want to play, then great. I'm not going to force them to play.
Yeah.
But it's pretty common just having the music in the house that they will naturally pick it up and be interested. So.
Do your brothers or sister play at all?
Yep, they all had lessons growing up, so they all played a varying degree. Some of them are more, some less interested, and like any family, typically some of them are more interested in other instruments like guitar or
Yeah.
drums, etc. So.
Different ages. Mom and dad, either one of them play?
Not too much.
Okay.
I think one of them might have had lessons growing up, but just a little bit.
So, to close this up, what is the best part for you about teaching piano?
just seeing people increase their ability to play music that they love. It's a lot of people have heard piano songs or have favorite popular music songs that they wish they could play or want to be able to play in a band or whatever. So seeing them develop their ability is pretty satisfying. You know, music's a great part of life, and you know, being able to enjoy that themselves is pretty awesome.
And for you too.
Oh, of course.
And for you too.
Yep.
Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
I think we got it all.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
coming. It's been a joy.
My pleasure.
It's been fun. I learned a lot all of a sudden. I'm Beverly Enos. Don't forget, if you need piano lessons, Matthew's here for you in Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos. You're watching Spotlight Georgetown. Thank you for joining us today. Bye for now.